Okay, so when I talk about logical consequences, I like to call them creative consequences because sometimes when you have a hierarchy, when you have a list of things, this happens first, like you stay after school, then detention, that's pretty strict and pretty structured. And some things happen in the classroom, they happen instantaneously. And you need to be able to think on your feet. So it's important to build up this list of things, what could I do when something happens? And the reason we say they should be logical is because lots of times when we make rules and we give the consequence, they don't relate to each other. If you want to stop behavior, sometimes that works. But if you want to teach kids how to change their behavior, then you need to create rules that make sense. So what we're going to do is a couple of scenarios to show you what we mean by being creative when you give consequences. One shoe doesn't fit all, that kind of thing. So we'll just reenact the scene. These are two students, okay, Sammy and Rachel, and they're going to be talking to each other, and you'll see what happens. And then I'll ask you what you think a logical consequence would be. Okay?
Oh my gosh, Sam, I'm starving right now. Like, I'm really hungry. I'm getting hangry.
I know, I'm very, very hungry. I can't wait till lunch, though.
Yeah, what are you going to eat?
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, hopefully it's not anything gross at the cafeteria, you know?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Okay, stop the action and let me just throw out. Now, Sammy, in the course of conversation, just takes a piece of paper, doesn't care about the environment, throws it on the floor. Now, lots of times when teachers see that, they'll scream, pick that up right now, you have detention. Now, there's no connection between throwing something on the floor and disregarding your environment and staying after detention. That's not going to change behavior. You want the students to learn how to be responsible in terms of, carrying out different behaviors and acting in the classroom. Okay, so just let me throw it out. What would be a consequence if that really got me that annoyed that let's say he did it 4 times in a row. Now this is the 4th time, no more breaks, okay? So let me throw it out to you. What would be a logical consequence that would sort of teach responsibility and change that behavior? Anyone?
Maybe somewhere.
He could be on cleanup duty somewhere if that's permissible in the school, yes. Anything else?
Stay after school and help the janitor.
Okay, stay after school and help the janitor. Right. Those are logical consequences. It's teaching responsibility. So there's a connection between what he has done, and then the action that followed. So that's what we mean in a very simple way, logical consequences. Okay, so now let's present another scenario, a little more severe than just throwing a piece of paper on the floor and making them, relate that to cleaning up the room.
Oh my gosh, what is wrong with you? Why did you say that about Julia? You're such a jerk.
I didn't say anything about Julia, and your mother's a jerk.
Okay, so that's pretty severe. Now let's talk about that. He said, your mother is a jerk. Okay? She said, he's a jerk, your mother's a jerk. And sometimes the vocabulary could get even more severe than that. So what would you do as a teacher in that situation? Send them to the principal's office. Okay, now, is there a connection between the two?
Not really.
Okay, but that would be, your first instinct. You can't talk that way in the class. You can't talk, you're disrespecting her. But, if it's said to the teacher, it could get pretty out of hand. All right? Courtney, do you have a suggestion?
Silent lunch.
Silent lunch? Okay, so that would be between the two, Ryan, what do you think? Would that make a little more sense than what you did? That would be pretty neat to have something like that. Another solution would be a little more involved. What I would do in this situation is I would have Sammy call Rachel's mother and apologize. Now, the mother doesn't know anything about this, so I would get on the telephone and I would say, hello, Rachel's mother, this is Anthony Scannella, I'm a teacher at the school, and I have Sammy here. Sammy really was disrespectful, and I have your daughter here, and he said that you're a jerk, and Sammy wants to apologize. And I would hand the phone. Now, That to me makes sense. It's teaching a lot, you know, for people to be respect, but it's a little more intense for Sammy. Okay? Now, if Sammy doesn't want to do that, then I might send him to the principal's office. Now he's disrespecting not only your mother, you, and me. So he has to learn that there are consequences for that kind of talk in the classroom.